Hey guys, this is my weekend video. I haven't been doing videos because I'm in the chat room a lot. Been in the chat room a lot this past few months. But at any rate, yeah, they are anticipating markets gapping up Monday morning. So that's exactly. So Tuesday we have some very important data. The probably the most forward-looking data that you have in the markets is your PPI, and that is hitting the tape Tuesday morning. So this is your inflation indicator, your producer's price index, and as we know, everything seems to be inflating heavily here. And we're hearing it in the steel sector, the copper sector, the oil sector, even the grain sectors and everything. So definitely seeing this is very important data hitting at 8:30 Tuesday morning, and so far the markets are anticipating a bid up from that data. And what we saw into the close, they were buying the calls going out 2 weeks. Um, these expired Friday right here, and this one here expired Friday, so that they no longer mattered. But this is the closing print, and so like next week they were buying a little bit of protection here. It looks like on the SQQ calls. So basically, what I'm seeing right here is uh, a mixed bag here. You know, the calls and the puts. But if you go out in time here, they were still accumulating 2 weeks out. The calls for tech going out 2 weeks from here. So definitely all the signs are that they want to take the markets higher to start the week and into the numbers. So we'll see what happens Monday morning. Last week was all about the ZNs, and that's the 10-year bonds. Okay, and we got a massive bid in the bonds right out of the gate Monday, and so I wanted to show you just how we were at these lows down here. And if you go and auto zoom it here, see we are down in this low consolidation area, and we are trying to do a reversal. This is signaling deflation. Okay, and so basically, if we're getting a reversal right here, this is a deflation warning, and we were seeing that in the industrials. Industrials seem to be breaking down because if you're getting deflation, you're not going to have pricing power in your goods and services. And we saw it in the financials this week. I mean, so basically rotation out of those areas. I'm not a huge believer in that. I think the Fed came in early last week, realizing PPI was going to be huge Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, and they wanted to prop up yields or bring down yields because we got all this debt to service and everything. I think the Fed came in here and they propped this up. In my opinion, they were propping this up last week to that way whenever the PPI does come in, we're not breaking down and breaking consolidation lows here on the yields. So I think the Fed's perfectly content with yields being in this range. They just do not want to see yields get out of control. And so basically, everything happened last week, in my opinion, was Fed driven and largely Fed. There was a short squeeze also. So basically, you're getting a short squeeze in this scenario as well. But I think the Fed was coming in as the big buyer, helping push price. So that's two things that I'm wanting to float out there, and so just remember that going further in your session. And if you look at your HG, okay, just look what's happened with your copper. You go out on a daily here, and copper has just been to the moon. And so basically, we got some downside action early in the week, and then Friday we're trying to pop back up again. Very inflationary going on here with our copper inflationary signals, and we already have been forewarned just early last week. China, that was the primary impetus of their inflation in China. It was all the copper run up here, and it seems to be holding in there like a champ. We got crude doing the same thing. Your crude oil, here you are, up here 70, 78. I have 73 this week. See how close we are to my target? So I'm really thinking we'll get 73 this week. So that suggests we're still going to have more upside in that, probably, quite possibly even Monday or before the numbers actually come out. So just keep that in mind. So that's quite inflationary as well. And then on the flip side, I want to talk about the grains like your corn. So another one that I wanted to point out here is your corn, and these are your corn futures. And basically, Biden coming out being this big, uh, planet-friendly president, with pushing the EV vehicles like there's no tomorrow. Okay, and he's coming out and they're relaxing uh, ethanol standards to where we don't have to use near as much corn in the in because corn. Look how corn's skyrocketing. So they are relaxing ethanol standards to help drive down corn prices. And corn, that is a major inflation scenario as well. So basically, what I'm seeing is the Fed is coming in and popped up the bonds, and now we see change of policy that's going to be less supportive of higher corn prices, in my opinion. Both of these suggest to me we're going to have a very strong PPI Tuesday. So because I think the government is signaling to us, hey, they're getting worried. The numbers are going to be are stronger than what we were expecting. So that is my thesis, and I'm going to take it into Tuesday, thinking we're going to have a nice inflation trade coming into the first of the week after those Tuesday numbers happen. And if that's the case, you got to be watching XLF this week. XLF had a really nice your financials and we had a nice little pull down last week. If you go on a weekly chart and look at your weekly handles, come in here, okay, and so yeah, we have had a nice little pullback on that. So if I'm right, and this could be just a short term pullback this week, and we'll get a recovery this week. So I'll definitely keep that one on watch. Same way with your CRE, that's your regional banks. Okay, we actually broke back below, so these are more bearish in my opinion. So we got to keep a really close eye on that. So basically, early Tuesday morning, it all depends on how the data is interpreted. It can go either way, but this is one I definitely want to look at. I do think we're going to have an inflation thesis, and the deflation thesis I think is actually very dangerous for the markets, and it could get ugly, fairly ugly here after the Tuesday numbers if we do have a lot stronger deflationary pressures, which I don't think we have based on the commodity prices, but I could be wrong. But I don't. I just don't. I don't think it's quite there yet. So, and the only thing that the wage inflation. We've been talking about wage inflation, and I still think that we're gonna have wage numbers coming out Tuesday morning too, and I still think there's going to be strong wages. And so that's just a couple themes that I'm going to put out there. And then I'm going to go over some stocks here real quick. So some things I look at, if we're closing above the 61.8% of this week's trading range, that to me is a potential gap, gap and go for next week. So I got Apple here on watch. Basically, we've had quite a bit of selling pressure on Apple most of the week, and then Friday all of a sudden they rotated out of Microsoft and decided to start supporting Apple. So it's it's actually quite shocking. They got Apple up into or Microsoft up into resistance for the week, and then they decided to rotate in Apple about the same time they got out of Microsoft. So basically, I have Microsoft up here into resistance, and I had this early Friday morning. I had my fib drawn out like this, and so basically, we came right up here into a resistance. Based on the weekly price action, and if you go on a daily, go down to a daily webs on say like a 15-minute, you can see it better. And so basically, we're trading on these value areas with your Fibonacci retracement. It's worked really well this week, and I realized we were probably going to open up here in resistance area, and as soon as we started rejecting here, I took a short, and boy, it paid off real good on Microsoft. Okay, Another one I was trading, I took Tesla long. This is another one. We came down. We had that news the night before. We came down, tested the support, came down the second time, tested the support. So I was initiating a long down here for Tesla. Had a really nice profit on this little move right here. So I was so upset. I put left over. If I would have stuck it out and for the big move, that was about $2,500 or better. I had 5 contracts, and I was so upset that I left so much on the table because the bigger move. But that's the way it goes sometimes. Um, but basically, it's not about. It didn't close above the 61.8, so I'm not quite as. Uh, it's not necessarily a continuation pattern in my book on that one. And in Boeing, it's doing the opposite. It was bearish most of the week. Here we opened way up here. Uh, you know, Early in the week we went up here and we just drifted lower and lower and lower and lower. The industrials just really took it on the chin this week. So a very dangerous situation. We got breaking trend here on the transports, and we're breaking trend potentially breaking down trend on the industrials as well. So they are pushing this deflation theme to its limit going into uh, Tuesday. And like I said, if it turns out to be valid that we do have deflationary pressures, which I have no reason to think that's the case, uh, yeah, things could get pretty ugly. You got your IYT as your transports. We're down below here, critical support. Uh, we're just hugging down here below. I still think this is buy the dip on this, until proven otherwise. Here's your primary uptrend. We came down, looked out below. This looks like an algo hook sell off to me on the transports as well. And then XLI, same thing. We're looking down below. We're going into that news. And if I'm right, and it turns out to be inflationary pressures, we're probably going higher. So, but like I said, you can flip a coin. If I was a betting person, I would still bet 65%, 70%. Uh, there's going to be more inflationary pressures than deflationary pressures. So, um, that's my bet on that one. Okay. So this Facebook chart's a little bit more messy. I got overlapping Fibonacci's. This week's Fibonacci, it closed on the very low side of this week's trading range for Facebook, but in the upper range of the prior 2 weeks. So you have to keep that in mind going forward um, in your trading. They were markets going all time highs, and they were actually taking some profits off the table here on Facebook. So I don't know if that's a tale of a bigger story or not. Just something to definitely keep on watch here. We got Google as well. Google's very strong. We broke out to all-time new highs. I think it was in the past couple days. So we're breaking out to all-time new highs. This could be a trending stock. And then we have Amazon had a really nice bid. We have Prime Day in 2 weeks, and generally tech has a bid going into Prime Day. So that's another reason to be a little bit more bullish going into the markets because you have Prime Day coming up here in just 2 weeks on Amazon. So that's another one to definitely keep on watch here. So I have the next resistance up here at 34.20. So are we going to get it next week? I don't know, but definitely something to keep on watch. We did come up right here. We back tested this already. I mean, we didn't cross it. We back tested this fib fan. I'm sorry I got so much crap on these charts. I haven't cleared everything off yet. But at any rate, definitely something to keep on watch here. We got this range high. So we're fighting. This is a resistance area before. We break above here any higher on Amazon, and it could be a rocket ship. So just keep that in mind. We're just our last going into Prime Day. We are at our last resistance area for a possible breakout on Amazon. So I definitely want to point that out going forward here. And is there any others I got here? Oh, NVIDIA. NVIDIA, we got the stock split coming up as well. So that's another one to keep on watch here. Breaking out to all-time new highs. It seems like every week breaks the new all-time highs. Still closed near the all-time high. There, and I took a short actually on that Friday afternoon and made a little bit of money on that. Right, came up to my resistance, rejected into the close. So I did take a small short on that one. Made a little bit of money on that one as well. But yeah, like I said, if the inflation theme is valid, which I think it is, semis should continue to benefit from it. And so just keep that in mind going forward. That's what I'm seeing. You got shortages everywhere for these semiconductor components, and and I don't see any solid rotation out of that trade at all. So if anything, we are setting up for a breakout on the semis, in my opinion. So that's what I'm seeing. I don't know what you guys are, but extend to the right. But yeah, we're up here in the breakout area, potential breakout area. We've had a nice consolidation sideways. This could be a breakout rocket ship to when those PPIs come out. And then I have resistance up here at 256.87. I think we're going to get it this week. So, this is not a hard line in the sand, but whenever you start a breakout, it can get violent. So, but I do think, this might become new support for the semis. So I do want to float that. 256.76 could be a resistance support area. So definitely something to keep in mind. These levels are holding pretty good here. So, I just think we're going to have a run up to here. It might act as resistance and we come back down. So we'll just keep that one on watch as well. Okay. So that's what I got. If you got anything, please put it in comments. Okay. Like the video, please. And please retweet it on Twitter if you get a chance. Okay. Really appreciate it. Thanks a lot.